just want to chitter-chatter a little bit, and nothing like our students here, right? But anyway, it's so wonderful to be with you this morning. I just want to thank you for the principal at the Hillcrest Academy, where you raised the money for them, and it was great because here's what happened. You know how much you all raised? What you were told? Okay, tell stories in suspense, all right? But anyways, when we were down there for ESM, which is Richmond Service Administration, for the junior high school, when we were down there, they had, as we shared with them, a tremendous need in their playground area. And their playground area is not like yours. They have 5 swings. Every time we go down there, all 5 swings are broken. Okay? So we have to refix them. Because that's basically all they have. They have a basketball court that they play on. And that basketball court, the backboards are made out of wood, and the rims look like they're about ready to fall off. That's all they have. When they play baseball, or I think it's baseball, we call that. They used in the past, until Mr. English gave us a bat, they used a piece of wood for their bat. So think about what you have and what they have, and you say thank you, Lord, for what you have. And part of what we try to do is to help give them an opportunity. Generally, you know, it's like we go to recess. They like to play outside just like we do. And they go into an area that's basically all sand, and then those few swings. And there's a preschool area that they try to keep the older kids off, like the 6th graders here, you know how big our 6th graders are. The 6th graders sometimes play in the preschool equipment. So imagine what happens when 6th graders are playing on preschool equipment. That equipment gets messed up. They have little houses they like to play in and so forth. But one of their greatest needs was to be able to put a fence around the preschool area so that they could keep the older kids from messing up the little kids' stuff. And so that's one of the greatest needs. So when we got down there, they had the fence company come in because we were about to try to install a fence because you're hitting rock just as soon as you get out about that far, you're hitting rock. And so they need to bring in special equipment to put in the fence posts. So that's why they were getting a bid. Bid is where they tell the fence company was telling Hillcrest Academy how much it was going to cost to put up the fence around the area they wanted. And that estimate came in at $1,633.42 or something like that. Now, that's a lot of money. And in the Bahamas, things are more expensive than here in the United States. For example, a bag of potato chips here costs about $2.50, $2.75. Well, in the Bahamas, it's like $6. So, you know, there's a real cost difference between here in America and the cost difference in the Bahamas. And so that's a lot of money. But it was wonderful 2 Friday mornings ago in chapel to stand up in front of Hillcrest Christian Academy and hand to Mrs. Dawkins, the principal, a check for what you had raised, and what you had raised was over $1,600. So all we had to make up was a difference of about $22 from what you had raised for them now to be able to install a fence around the preschool equipment. So Mrs. Dawkins wanted me to express, in fact, she cried when we handed her the check, express to you her gratefulness. And so the students did, and I wish I had the video. It wasn't a real good video, but if I had a video, you would see all the students about the size of our school, pretty close to the size of our school, all standing up and applauding. And that way I would love for you to be able to see and hear that they were so excited for what you did. So I'm here this morning just to tell you thank you from Hillcrest Christian Academy for what you have done. And that has been a huge blessing to them. This morning, we're going to have our high school students come and share with you about 3 different mission trips that were taken. There were many more during that ESM week, but 3 specifically. They are coming because they have the day off. Most of them. You all? Okay. You don't. Anyway, almost all of them. This is tonight's prom for Troy Christian High School. And they get the day off in order to be prepared. The reason we do it on Friday is because we want no excuses. My seniors listening, okay, no excuses for them not going to church on Sunday. So we do it on Friday night, and they spend all night, and then Saturday morning they sleep, and then they're in church at worship on Sunday. So that's why we do it on Friday night, so we kind of give them a little time off, because they got to get prepared. The girls have to get their nails done and all that. But anyway, so they're coming in a little different attire. Mr. Smith is with them as well. Mr. Smith, he's kind of like Michael. The reason we're in jeans today is because it's one of those things where Mrs. Ward says, I need this to go do it. We don't ask questions, we just go do just what she says. Because she did it to us all the time. So we've got to do what we need to do what she has. So that's why we're kind of dressed the way we are. So anyways, this morning we're so grateful again for the time to come together and celebrate. So when we worship and praise our God this morning, let's do it with extra ounce of enthusiasm and joy, because of His blessings not only in our lives, but how God has used you to bless other people as a result of what you did for the children at Hillcrest Christian Academy. Right now we're going to be led by opening prayer and welcome, and I see Gilbert's up. I'm nervous to turn this thing over to Gilbert. And somehow this guy is going to take off. Are you on first? You are. Okay. So I will now turn it over to them. Again, from Mrs. Dawkins and Hillcrest Christian Academy, they say thank you so much.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Morning, You're fine. Just like Dr. Mobley said, we have some good people back there. Got their mission work, and so please give them your full attention, because they got some neat things to share. So, please faith and prayer.
Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity that the high schoolers and junior hires had to go serve others. I hope that all of us can finish out this week strong in the fourth quarter. In your name I pray, amen.
How have you guys been doing this week? I've been really tired. I got really exhausted on the office trip. We got a lot of work done. Our basic schedule would be wake up at about 7 in the morning and we have breakfast and we do devotions. And then at about 8 to 9, from the time period of 8 to 9 o'clock, we would go and play with the kids on the playground. And we'd play with them until it was time for school to start, and then we would split into two groups. We had our classroom group, and then we had our work projects group. And the people in this group would alternate every day. The work projects group did work projects like the first day we were painting, and then the second day we did some interior stuff. We built part of the wall. That was pretty hard. And the school groups went into classrooms that needed help, whether the teacher had too many students or the teacher wasn't there. One day we had a group of students fill in for about 2 hours where the teacher wasn't there because she was caught into traffic. Now, what happened after that was we would have lunch, and then we would, at about 3 o'clock-ish, we would do something special with some of the kids' groups. One day we spent probably about 2 hours with 6th graders. We built big Lego sets with them, and that was really fun. We played basketball, which I'm not really good at. I got beat by the kids in the Bahamas. And also the girls went up and they did, with the 6th grade girls, they did manicures and a bunch of other girly stuff. I think they made cookies. The guys just ate all the cookies. Really fun. We also got to help out with 5th graders. We built smaller Lego sets with them, and the girls did about the same stuff with them. Wednesday night, we had a really fun opportunity. We got to help with Boy Scouts. The guys got to help with the Boy Scouts troop, and the girls got to help with some sort of the Bahamas version of brownies. I'm not really sure what they did, but it was pretty cool. They are really strict in Boy Scouts out in the Bahamas, I have to tell you. And then at about 8, we played with the kids from 3 until probably about 6 at night, because some of the kids didn't get picked up till really late by their parents. And then at about 6, we eat dinner. Mrs. Ward is a very good cook. And then after, she's not here right now, unfortunately. I can't embarrass her. And then at about 8 o'clock-ish, we had until dark to finish whatever projects we had started. Now, I was really proud of the group. The first night we were there, we were like fresh off the plane, we were just trying to like get stuff done. What happened was we had to paint an entire fellowship hall in about a span of 4 hours. And I was really proud of my team because we worked together and we got it done in like 2 hours. It was an awesome experience working with all the kids there. And Dr. Wilbur already talked about the fence. That was really cool and really touching, seeing us kind of give away the money for the fence. The fence really needed it. Parts of it are peeling away and there's barbed wire sticking everywhere. You had to keep the kids away from it. So we got a lot done and we learned one of the primary focuses of the Bahamas is grooming leaders for different trips. Now we went over the acronym called SIR. It stands for Sacrifice, Encourage, Risk, Vulnerability, and Endure. I'm sorry, all elementary teachers who I've offended by not knowing how to spell. We went over one of these every day at breakfast time, and then we have the whole day to kind of meditate on it, and then at the end of the day, we come back and reflect and journal and see how we had applied that principle in that day. We had to take what we called a Kodak moment. I don't know if they're in business anymore, so it was just kind of a snapshot of the day that we had to remember and talk about that night. And so everybody grew a lot in this experience, and I cannot wait to see some of these kids grow up and be leaders for trips like Jamaica and Nicaragua. So.
And this is Lauren Haynes, and we both went on the Jamaica trip. So we have some pictures to show you and just kind of talk about what we did. We went with an organization called ACE, which stands for American Caribbean Experience, and they have a micro business, which is called Galena Breeze Hotel, and that's where we were able to stay for the whole week. And so we have a couple pictures of the beautiful landscape from our hotel. So we were right on the ocean. We got to see many different trees and plants. This was an acorn tree. And then we went down a bunch of steps onto a beautiful platform out by the ocean. We went down there at night and were able to have our devotions and our teaching times, and it was just beautiful to see all of God's creation. And beautiful sunsets. That's actually the platform. And the one night we actually built a bonfire, and that was just a great time for the group to bond.
This is one of the places we went. This was Mr. Eddie's farm, and here he had a bunch of acres of different fruits and vegetables that we got to try, and he also had these little boxes where he planted like lettuce and tomatoes and things that we could help build also. This was just a picture of what a lot of his land looked like, and a lot of the land down there looks like. This is Hampstead School. This is one of the schools that we went to, and a group of students actually went here to tutor one day. And they also built like a box too of what Mr. Eddie had.
Many of the students at these schools are very fortunate to go there. The organization does a sponsorship program where people in America will give $30 a month, and that buys the kids lunch tickets for lunch all month long, and then new shoes for each school year and a new uniform, because many of their families can only afford to send one child to school, and sometimes not any at all. So these kids are very fortunate to be able to even go to school. This was at a separate school. We visited called Galena Primary School, and here we were also able to tutor the students. Many of them are just learning to read and write in like 3rd and 4th grade sometimes, and a lot of them struggle. So they pull them aside in groups of 4 or 5 and work through their sounds and their syllables. So that was a joy to be able to do that. This was just one of the groups that I was actually able to tutor. They love getting their pictures taken, and so they will beg you to see your camera and take pictures of it.
This is another place we went to. This was Mrs. Anderson's house. And here you see on the very left the smaller part. That's actually going to be a bedroom group, separate of the girls. Right now the girls and boys are together, and that's not good. So they're going to have their girls in a separate room, which is really great. And then the extra, with the cement blocks, we actually helped build that, and that's going to be a bathroom. So they haven't gotten anything yet, but they're now getting their toilet and everything, and it's going to be really exciting for them. This was at an infirmary. An infirmary in Jamaica is actually like a nursing home here, but it's really bad conditions. And here, the elderly people would go and they would be sent there and they get food and their beddings and things, but it's put on by the states and the government. So it's not as nice a conditions as our nursing homes are here, but it's a place for them to go.
In the infirmary, they only get one meal a day, and all it is like a little cup of rice, and maybe if they're lucky, they get some meat. And a lot of their bedding had holes in it, and they were laying on plastic mattresses, and a lot of them can't move, and so it's really hot in Jamaica, and so they just have to lay there, and sometimes there's flies, and the cats will just walk through under their beds because the doors are open, and they don't get any attention. So we were able to go in and give them some food and water and give them some attention that they really need. And then this last picture is the last day we got our fun day, and we went to the beach in Ocho Rios, which is a big city in Jamaica, and we got to go to the market and buy stuff, and that was a beautiful day and a great time to end the trip. But overall, it was great to serve the people of Jamaica, and we were able to do so much hard work to help them and see how their families lives can change.
My name is Carlos and this is Sarah, and we went to Nicaragua on a mission trip. And how many of you guys remember hearing about Nicaragua this year and last year? Well, it's great, it's great. How many of you guys helped donate or gave any donation? Remember that? Yeah, awesome. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about where those donations went to and our trip overall. This is us at the airport and getting ready to leave. We flew from Dayton to Atlanta, from Atlanta to Managua. Managua is the capital of Nicaragua. And there's us at McDonald's shopping. That's which is a pretty nice supermarket down there. We bought supplies down there with some of the money that was donated that went towards food and basic provisions for all the ministries we would be visiting. We visited a church a lot like what you guys do on Sunday, and there we listened to a great message. The church was a lot smaller than what you guys might think, and it was outdoors, which was good because it was a hot day. But yeah, from there we went to an orphanage where handicapped kids are. We were just taking care of some of the handicapped kids for a while. We fed them ice cream, which was a real treat for them. And we just showed them, the love that they don't really have much down there. It's hard with no parents. So here's Sarah to talk a little bit more about the other things that we did.
On Monday, we visited Bradley's House of Hope, which is a treatment center for children that have disabilities, and their parents can bring them in to learn physical therapy and also musical therapy and horse therapy too. And they can learn how to live with their disabilities and also to try to improve them. While we were there, we helped in the classrooms and we also helped with the nurses. And the other group that wasn't at Bradley's went to visit homes of families that attend Bradley's, and we were able to hear about their stories, and also we could give them the supplies, like their food, that would last them for a long time, because many times they don't have all of the money. And we also were able to give the children stuffed animals, and you guys did an amazing job with stuffed animals. We had a whole ping pong tables covered with stuffed animals, and those toys were able to go to the hospital where there were lots of little children that just wanted a little toy. And I think this is at the dump where we visited one of our friends who lives in the dump, and she bakes tortillas every day for the people, and she's going to open up a store where she can sell things to the people in the dump, and so that she can make their lives better. And this is at Chapa Cente, which is an organization that actually takes people out of the dump so they can have a better life. And we fed them chicken dinner for lunch every day. And they really love that. And then that day we got to meet all the families fruits, and some of them were good and some of them were terrible. But, and we just got to spend time with them and meet them and talk to them. And we also gave them some food for their families. And after that, the next day we worked. And last year we built a high school for Chocolate and Day. And this year we were making the cafeteria for their high school. So that was a lot of hard work. And we were digging trenches, sifting sand to make the cement. So that was a lot of hard work, but we could definitely see that the people appreciate it.
So yeah, oh, there's a scorpion. There's a lot of those down there. We did a lot of hard work, as she said, and we also got a chance to visit the deaf school. How many of you guys know about sign language? Right? Well, the people here speak a different sign language. There's American Sign Language and there's Nicaraguan Sign Language. And the missionaries there speak English, Spanish, American Sign Language, and Nicaraguan Sign Language. That's languages. So yeah, this is a little bit more of us working with cement. They built their houses out of cement, most of them there, and this is everyone in the project. On the final day, we went shopping at the local market. Got a lot of neat little trinkets there. This is Roger at the pottery shop that we went to. And that's beautiful pottery down there. That was pottery made. There you go. So yeah, we also got to go to some neat restaurants down there. Just visiting a beautiful view of the lake. This is the lagoon that we were at. This is us before going zip lining. It was a lot of fun, I'll tell you, the zip lining. So overall, thank you again for donating all the things that you did. It went to a great cause. Kids just like but yeah, kids just like you and me, are getting these things. They are they're really appreciative of all the things that we learned and engaged. So yeah, this is us at the lagoon on our final day. And two of our group members, Marvin Major and Christian Salazar, they both got baptized in the lagoon.
All right. Thanks, guys, for sharing your trips. So excited about the opportunities we have to do this, to go all over the world during ESM week, and your guys' contributions, what you guys bring in and donate and stuff, just helps us be able to do that, and it goes a long way. So we're really appreciative of what you guys bring to the table with that. And we also look forward to, as you guys move forward in your education and you start getting into junior high and high school, to be able to take part in some of these things. You got to hear from the Bahamas and Jamaica and Nicaragua, but we also send groups to New York and Chicago. There was a group that went to Indiana to do some of that disaster relief stuff from the tornadoes they did there not too long ago. We're going all over the place. The junior high went to a camp in Ohio to get that camp ready for the summer. So where a lot of people come and get to hear about Jesus. And just awesome times that we get to do that. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next few years up at the high school, and someday you guys will be in some of these pictures and maybe standing in front of the elementary school here sharing about your experiences as well. I went on the Jamaica trip, and your very own Mrs. Wrench went on the Jamaica trip with us, and we had an absolute blast with her, and so I'm sure you guys maybe saw her class and saw some of those pictures as well. So, guys, again, thank you so much, and thank you for having us come and share about our experiences there. I'm going to hand this over to Mrs. Nextro. You guys have a wonderful day.
Isn't it exciting what we get to be a part of? And you know what, boys and girls, if you remember, when you hear they helped build a high school, they were putting a fence around a play area. As you get older and then when you go, I wonder what God will have you doing in these places. Isn't that exciting? Because remember, we're making a connection with these places so we can continue to make a difference in their lives. So you start praying about that. You've been praying, and that's the one thing that they were saying too, that they could tell that you were praying over those trips. Because we did have some little glitches that went on. We had a few people who had to go to the hospital in different places. But God took care of every single one of those. And that was direct prayer. Answer to direct prayer. Well, we are ready for student